So what's great about this time of year is that I can film several videos at 3 o'clock, and then I can go running. I can leave my house at 4 to go for my run, and it will still be bright and sunny. So I just finished this lovely book, finally, If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio, which, yes, I did not realize this, but the author is a woman. For some reason I thought it might be a man, but no, M.L. Rio is a woman. Although reading it, yeah, it definitely feels more like a woman's writing than a man's. So I'm gonna first give you guys a brief, spoiler. I'm gonna try to do like a spoiler-free review and then do a spoiler review. So, and I'll just hold up the book when I get to that point, when I start spoiling it. Although I don't know how long I'll be holding up the book. I should probably try to send that, because I don't know how to do those things, like you can show a picture on your screen and stuff like that, all those editing techniques and stuff like that. So I'll just hold up the book when I get to that point. So for now, I'm not going to hold it. So We Were Villains. Yes, it's very similar to A Secret History, like the plot and stuff like that, where we have our narrator, Oliver Marks, is this naive and impressionable young man. Although I think, compared to the main character in A Secret History, I think Oliver is more aware of his friends and what he's getting mixed up in than Richard in A Secret History. And it's funny because there is a character named Richard in this book as well. But he's not that nice. He's kind of a bastard. So it's about a group of... Oliver has been in jail for, I think it's been 10 years, for a possible murder he may or may not have committed. And the detective who was on the case, who arrested him in the first place, Detective Colborn, he has decided to see if Oliver is finally ready to tell the truth of what really happened. Because he never believed it. He never believed that Oliver was guilty. He had his suspicions. I don't know if he knew who was guilty, but he didn't believe Oliver did it. So Oliver decides to tell him the story. So the stage is set. The players are in place, and so the curtain opens and begins the tale of Oliver and his friends. And they are students. They go to a special classical conservatory school where they are studying and obsessed over theater, particularly Shakespeare. And it's all about their crazy lives and how, like I said in my previous video, they live dramatically, life on the edge. And one of their own gets murdered. And we basically are trying to... we as the reader are trying to figure out who is the actual murderer, and our characters are trying to not give away anything that they knew, especially because they let the guy die. And it's basically about them dealing with that and how that affects their group, and how their friendship slowly falls apart after this loss. And not only that, but Oliver gets caught up in a bit of a very unique and interesting love triangle. Because he is, first of all, and it's, I don't know if I should reveal, this unique love triangle that, because he is dating the ex-girlfriend of the victim, and of course that makes him look a little guilty. But he's also in love with his roommate, James. So, I guess that's all I'm gonna say. That's spoiler-free. Oh, well, wait, I guess I have to tell you my thoughts on the book. So, first of all, I love, because it's about theater, I love the setup of the book. It's still written like a novel, but you open the book with Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, etc. And then you have the prologue where you're in the present with the detective and Oliver being interviewed by the detective, him telling his story. But then you also have, instead of chapters, they're called scenes. like scene 1, scene 2, and then you have the climax of that act, and then you have the next act, and so on and so forth. So I thought that was really cool. Now there's a lot of Shakespeare, like these characters, because they're so pretentious and arrogant, they speak in quote. They quote Shakespeare sometimes when they talk, like whether they're mocking each other or they're trying to reveal some information that they didn't want to reveal, like feelings or like they kind of speak in a Shakespearean way, and I feel like that can be something that you either like it or you hate it, because not everybody. It's still a great story, but sometimes Shakespeare can be, because I mean, I'm a theater person. Like I'm a thespian. I became inducted to the Thespian Society at the end of high school, but I don't know Shakespeare, and I can't understand it. Like I get the gist of what's going on, especially because I've watched a lot of either on-stage adaptations or on-screen adaptations. Mostly on screen, a couple of stage performances. So I kind of have some understanding. I think because it's also written like a regular novel, you kind of get the gist of what's going on. But I imagine it's probably like Allie from Hardback Hoarder said she was going to, I think she had said she was going to listen to it on audiobook because she's thinking that, hearing the Shakespeare lines on audiobook would be better. And I can imagine, I didn't do that because I don't, I have nothing against audiobooks. In fact, I like the idea of audiobooks. But because audiobooks are either as expensive as a book or more expensive, so I don't buy audiobooks regularly. But I imagine like hearing, because I feel like either you need to see a Shakespeare performed or you need to actually hear it out loud. I think that would definitely improve it. But this book is so amazing and such a fascinating. Just seeing this group slowly unravel and the madness of this group and how they're slowly starting to fall apart. And I'm a sucker for stories where you have these pretentious, arrogant people and how they think they're superior to everybody else, but then you see their lives just falling apart. It's like, it's like watching a traffic accident. You just can't look away. Which my dad kind of gets annoyed by that. He can't stand that when people just feel like they have to stare at a traffic accident, because then it creates more traffic, and it slows you down. It's like, it has something to do with you. You don't need to stare at it. But anyway, but it's such a fascinating story, and you have such mixed feelings about these characters because they're so dysfunctional and horrible human beings, but at the same time you kind of like them, and you're kind of intrigued by them. And you just feel really, and Oliver just kind of gets caught in the middle of this mess. But I think he's definitely I think he is naive, but he's not as naive as like the main character in A Secret History. Because he's been part of this group, this circle of friends, and has known them for a long time. So he knows who they are and what they're like, and he kind of understands them. And he knows that he's kind of trapped himself in this madness, and he's just as dysfunctional as them. So let's so I don't even know if I have anything to say that's spoilery. If I want to say anything that's spoilery. Well, I guess I really don't have anything to say. I'm so bad at reviews. I've been practicing reviews. That's why I've decided every other month I'll review the books individually instead of doing a wrap up. So I think that's really all I have to say. I don't, do I have anything negative? No, I don't have any, as I've said a million times before, I'm pretty easy to please, so I don't have many negatives. I mean, like I said, the only negative is sometimes the Shakespeare. If you're not familiar with Shakespeare and don't know how to read it, then yeah, it's going to be a little confusing at times. It's a very quick read, the chapters are not that long. I mean, they're only like a few pages. Like I said, this is not everybody's cup of tea. So I know I said I would do a spoilery section, but you know what? I don't have anything to say. I should have taken notes. I always say that and I never do it. I feel like this will be on my teeth. But it's a very good, intriguing story, and there is a little bit of romance, but it's very dysfunctional romance. It's romance that these couples should not be together. But at the same time, you almost kind of root for them. I guess it's kind of like how my mom on the show, my mom watched, because the show's done, I think, watched the show Scandal. And she kind of rooted for Olivia, the main character, and the president, even though he was cheating on his wife with Olivia. It's like those couples that they're toxic and they probably shouldn't be together in the real world, but you can't help but root for them at the same time. Of course, a lot of people, like I know in the book, what is it? The sequel just came out. The sequel, Wicked King. The Cruel Prince. A lot of people kind of root for the main couple that's established in that book, but it's such a toxic couple. And some people are like, I don't know why you would root for this couple. Why do you like this couple? They're so toxic. They shouldn't be together. They're not relationship goals. But I feel like the people that are like them as a couple, they know it's not relationship goals, and they just are intrigued by them, and that's what I like. I like dysfunctional couples that probably shouldn't be together. But also depends on like what I really. This one, it's because it's set. The setting is Shakespeare and theater, and I'm a theater nerd, theater geek. So that made it more interesting. And like The Cruel Prince, it's fantasy. So it depends on the setting. Like, I wonder if they had a toxic couple and the setting was high school and like they were athletes or something, then yeah, I wouldn't. Or today's political families or something, then yeah, I wouldn't care as much. So yeah, like I said, I don't really have any spoiler. I mean, I'm sure I do, but I can't think of them right now. But I definitely think this is a great book, an amazing novel. I know, like, one reviewer said it's basically just The Secret History, but with Shakespeare. And in a way, it is. But there are differences. I think the characters' personalities and stuff are very different. Of course, the conflict is a little different, too. Like, the details of, like, the guy getting murdered and everything is very different. And, of course, they have this book. It's definitely not, like... It's probably, a lot of people I imagine would say this is the length that A Secret History should have been. Because a lot of people's criticisms of A Secret History is it's too long and that Donna Tartt could have cut half of what she put in there. But anyway, I love this cover. Although, I prefer the other cover. Where there's the skull. That's like from Hamlet. Because if you're familiar with Hamlet, you know there's one scene where he's in the graveyard and he's talking to a skull. And that one is what's on the cover. I think that's that hardcover edition. This is the paperback, obviously. So I love this cover. But either way, there's these flowers are a reference to, I think, Caesar, his take on Julius Caesar. Okay, so I guess, I'm done. I don't have anything more to say. Like I said, I was going to do a spoiler-free section, but I don't have, because as always, I never take notes, so I don't really have any thoughts. But I feel like I almost should do that more often, because I kind of get envious of those booktubers that can do these really thorough reviews that are very deep and discuss. Like, I recently was watching, Books and Things, whose first name I still have not committed to my memory yet. She's doing a read-along of Bleak House, and just the way she talked about each of the chapters, because she's doing it by each month, they're reading a few chapters, and just the way she talks about it and everything, it's like, I couldn't remember all that. But I really do need to get in the habit of taking notes. But just, I don't like having to stop in the middle of my reading to write down a note. It bothers, it's like, I don't want to be taken out of the story. But, what I have thought about doing is, like, when I finish a chapter, or when I stop reading, then that's when I'll take notes. Because I don't read, I just, as much as I love reading, I can't do 24 hours of just straight up reading. But anyway, so those are my thoughts in my review of If We Were Villains. Like I said, it's a great book. I enjoyed it. If you love secret history, you would probably like this one, except for maybe, like I said, the one criticism is, like, not everybody gets into Shakespeare. Of course, not everybody is into Greek, which is what a secret history focused on. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you guys later. Alright, bye!